Hi, everybody. It's Victoria Ewan here. Thank you very much for joining me on this webinar tonight. I'm just going to chat for a few minutes because some of these gorgeous people that are joining us tonight, it's their first time on a webinar, and it can take a little bit of getting used to when we start learning online like this. I know I started learning online a couple of years ago, and it was quite a challenge to sort of figure out what was happening with it all. So hopefully you received one of the links that I sent out, and hopefully you have been able to go into Google Plus and you've been able to log in. On your screen, there's a few different things, there's a few different options that you can do. My screen looks a little bit different from your screen, but on my screen I have a question and answer box, which I'll put up now, so that now on the side of my screen, if you type in a question, I can answer it. So you don't need to just type in a question. You can type in, "Hi, I'm here," or "Hi, good to meet you," or "Hi," yeah, whatever you like. So what you'll see me doing is my eyes moving to the side every now and then, because that will be other messages coming in for me. So hopefully you'll be able to connect tonight. We'll be able to relax you. I've got quite a lot of things that I'd love to be able to teach you tonight. And I'm not going to go too fast, but I do get quite passionate about this. So I apologise if I start speaking quickly. You might even like to just pop a message in the question box and just say, "Look, slow down, Vic, it's okay." We can get through. And I'm also doing another webinar on, not tomorrow, but the following Monday. And we're going to be talking about lots of things, and that's going to be during the day, because I know the Western Australian time zones are really, really tricky for lots of people to sign in, because when I watch my webinars of how I learn other things, I know it's really hard to get on the live webinar. And that brings me to another point. I will be recording this webinar. Hopefully Google Plus is doing it for me as we speak. And then it will go on a YouTube channel, and it will go on my YouTube channel. And everything that I produce goes under Victoria's Place Online. So there's a YouTube channel, there's an iTunes podcasts that I give you. My website is victoriasplaceonline.com.au, and I write lots of articles on relaxation and stress management. And I also give quite a few meditations out. I really believe that meditation is just one of the most important things that we can do to help ground ourselves and help that balance. We're so busy all the time, and I know I was exactly the same. I'll tell you a little secret. Well, it won't be a secret, I guess. When I was doing my yoga teacher training and studying meditation, I was so busy and so frantic that I was actually fast forwarding the meditation. And I was thinking, this really isn't what we're meant to be getting out of this. So I have learnt how to say no. I have learnt how to relax my body and my mind. My life is still busy. My life is still very, very full. But I have learnt to, well, I call them the tools in my toolbox, or the tools in my toolkit. So I've learnt so many different types of tools. And if a stressful situation comes up in my life, I'll grab whichever tool I need for that time and I'll use it. So I firmly believe that meditation doesn't need to be sitting on a rock for 6 hours, or sitting in a cave with a loincloth on, or you know, and sort of elevating, saying, that could have been the way millions of years ago. But these days we have mortgages. These days we have other people to look after, whether they be our children or whether they be our elderly parents or whether they be our fur babies. We don't get cooked for and fed. If we're in a monastery, you might be, but I don't live in a monastery. And I don't know if many of you guys do either. And so we really need to try and figure out a way now of bringing that old wisdom, that old, you know, the amazing wisdom that we have available of how meditation and relaxation can affect and change our lives and calm our mind and just make life better, just so much better. But we need to be able to fit it into our lives, into every moment of our lives. And the way that I teach that is by giving you lots of different types of meditations and relaxations, so that in the different parts of your life, you can then pull on those different tools out of my toolkit, and you can use those to help calm a situation or help you sleep or help another person calm themselves as well. So that can be really important too. So if you have come on board and if you'd like to say hi, I'm the only one that sees these questions. So if you'd like to be anonymous, I'm just letting you know that that is okay. I don't need to say your name. But if you'd like to say hi, if you'd like to let me know where you're from, I'll turn on, there's my chat. There it is. Question and answer. So ask your audience to submit questions and they will appear below. There you are. So that's what it says on mine. So you would have somewhere on yours where you can type in. You might just need to push your finger over the mouse a little bit. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Victoria Ewan, and as I was saying before, I have Victoria's Place Online, which is a wellness and health and wellbeing website. And one of the reasons why I decided to do this is because I just saw so many people being stressed and so many people, even our little people as well, suffering from depression and anxiety. And I've had to teach myself how to cope in this world. I'm a very emotional, I'm a very sensitive person. And I can take on a lot of people's negative energies, and it really affects me, and it affects me physically. So what we're going to talk about today is some of the things that I've done to be able to calm my mind, and why I have to do this for medical reasons. And then we're going to be going on to giving you some tips and techniques to sleep, because sleep is so important. Sleep deprivation used to be a torture technique, and I know any new mum can justify this. It affects so many different parts of your lives. Okay, so I've just been given a little thing over here. It just says, all right, she's here. Good stuff. Nice to meet you. You're coming up as Ben. So, and then after I talk about how to sleep, because the techniques that I'm going to give you, you can give to other people in your families as well that aren't on here. Yeah, I figured that, Suzanne. No, that's good. So And then after we're going to go on to sleep, like I said, I'll give you some techniques that can help you, but can also help others. And then we're going to go on to the 3 most important things to help you have a decluttered home, and how to have a nice relaxed home. So there's lots and lots and lots of ways that we can promote having a relaxed home. And I've been working on it really, really hard. I've been working a lot on it. And it's quite interesting, the comments that we get now. It's quite interesting, the people that just stop me and say, wow, your kids are so calm, or every time we walk into your house, it's so calm, it's so peaceful. What's happening? Yeah, so it's sort of come about like that, and we have been working on it, but the proof is in the pudding. It's a peaceful place to be. It's really nice. And as with everybody has stresses in their lives, but it's just the way that you deal with those stresses to be able to function better, and so that your emotional reaction isn't taking over when you have that stressful situation. You can come to it in a really rational way, which can be quite a challenge. So I suggest practicing these things in a slightly stressful situation, not a massively stressful situation. And then it's quite amazing when a really big stressful situation comes up. You find yourself being very, you can detach yourself from it, and it's a really good feeling, because it's almost like you're stepping away, and you can say, okay, I have these choices now. I can choose to react this way, or I can choose to react that way. And it's really empowering having those choices. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut to some slides. And last time this didn't work at all, and I didn't realize, and so I was squinting into the computer, and it still looked, I thought everyone was seeing the slides. So we'll see if it works this time. All right, I'm just going to go over here, screen share. Yep, let's do desktop. Okay, I'm hoping. Yes, I'm hoping that worked. I'm just double checking everything. Excellent. So we are here tonight to talk about calming your mind and helping you sleep better, and the 3 most important things you can do to create your relaxed home. So I'm Victoria Ewan. A lot of people, when they don't meet me, see my last name and expect me to be Chinese. I married a Chinaman, so that's why I'm not Chinese, but my 2 little babies are a quarter Chinese. So here are my children now. So you can see I have Alana and I have Ollie, and this is us on one glorious afternoon. We just had to go down to the beach after school. It was so nice. And there is Alana and her dad, Tim, and we live in the most beautiful area near Bustleton Beach. Now, this is Alana, and she was doing paddling in that little canoe around the jetty. Now, the Bustleton jetty is huge. She was the youngest competitor kayaking around the jetty, and she just floors me. The strength and her confidence just absolutely floors me. So I'd just like to introduce you to my kids and my husband, and to the beautiful view that I have every day. So one of the things that we can do to create that calm in our house is really appreciate what we have. So really appreciating and being very grateful of what we do have. Now, here's the start of my story. Isn't this beautiful? This is Rarotonga. Now, I was born in Rarotonga. Imagine being born there. It's just absolutely stunning. But I was born there in 1975. So I'm assuming, I don't actually remember, I'm assuming that it was a little bit primitive and just an oasis and just absolutely stunning. My parents flew over from New Zealand with my big brother, and I was born on the Cook Islands. We lived there for about 4 years, and I lived there for about 2.5 years. Now, when I was there, I was 10 months old, and I started to get a little bit unwell. And then I started to get really, really unwell. No one knew what was wrong with me. They put me in hospital, and I screamed my guts out. I actually literally did. I'll tell you that story. I screamed and I screamed and I screamed. There wasn't a doctor there that knew what to do with me. And so a doctor happened to fly in from New Zealand and stopped into the hospital and looked at me and said, "Oh my goodness." Straight away, cut my belly open and removed a knot. So I had intussusception, and so my bowel had actually gone into itself and made a knot, like you can see, and then they cut that knot out. Now, because it was really quick, they did a really, really quick job. And so I screamed so much, I popped the whole entire lot. And so they did it again. They stitched me up again. They were doing very, very good. They saved my life. I'm eternally grateful for that. But it has caused enormous problems since then. I have so much scar tissue now in my belly. I've had other operations as well to try and remove some of the scar tissue and to try and help me. But I've had too many operations now, they can't operate anymore. And so one of the last surgeons said, this was before I decided to really, really focus on my health. One of the surgeons said, every time this happens, which was quite regularly, every time I got stressed, I'd have to just go into hospital, clear myself out and manage the pain with morphine, because that was the only thing at that stage that I could take to actually stop the pain. So I came home with that lovely piece of information. I already had my children by this stage, and I thought, do I want to be drugged up on morphine? Surely there is another way of doing this. And so I made it my absolute passion, almost ridiculous obsession really, to find out the latest health for the gut. And in finding all of this out, and in dietary changes and like that, I found out how many neurons are actually in the belly, and how much our belly and our gut affects our emotions and our mind. And it was really, really fascinating. The other day I was talking to a GP in a group that I'm in, and she said, yeah, we don't get taught that in medical school. It's only just started to come out, how much the food that we put into our bellies and the gut flora affects our moods and our mental health. And I knew this, every time I got stressed, I ended up in hospital. It was, yeah, it was very, very obvious in my situation of what happened. And so just recently, I still have to have checkups, obviously, because that scar tissue very easily turn into cancerous cells because they are abnormal cells already. And so I do have to have quite regular. I haven't been as regular as I should have been, but I did go in a couple of weeks ago and the surgeon just said, wow, far out. And you never know when you go in there. And I started doubting myself, thinking, oh, you know, what's he going to say? But he said, you must be so proud of yourself for dealing with all of this without medication, without hospitalization, painkillers. He was floored. And I sat back and said, wow, this works. This is good. You know, this is really good. I think there's going to be a lot more coming out soon on, well, I hope there is, on how the gut affects mental health. So that's why I tell you this story, not because I want to completely gross you out, but I tell you this story because I can speak from 40, I'm nearly 41, I can speak from 39 years, oh no, yeah, it happened when I was 10 months old, 39 odd years of experience and doing experiments on my own body and finding out what is good and what isn't. So what I have come to realize that everybody's body is completely different, but there are certain things that we can do in order to calm our mind and in order to lead as stress-free life as we can, in order for our whole entire body to work properly. Okay. So what we're going to be talking about tonight is to calm your mind. Now, it needs to start with us. Like I said, the stressful situations happen in our lives, but it's how we react to it. So I teach a little hand gesture called Peace Be With Me. Now, Gabrielle Bernstein writes about this in her book, and I did email her and I asked her, and she sent an email back saying, absolutely, you can share. What did she say? Spread the light, sister, or something like that. It was gorgeous. So I'm very happy that I can share this with you. So when we say peace be with me, when we say peace, we bring our thumb and our pointer finger together. When we say be, we bring our thumb and our middle finger together. When we say with, we bring our thumb and our ring finger together. And when we say me, we bring our thumb and our little finger together. So we just go down the fingers starting from the pointer finger. Peace be with me. And I do suggest doing it with both hands, but this is one that you can do if you're in front of a stressful situation. Sometimes we can't take ourselves away. Sometimes we can't, have time out. Sometimes we can't go and do a meditation. We have to do it then and there. So this is a really quick meditation for you. Peace be with me. And just pressing on the pads of your fingers each time as you say the words. And then we can start slowing our bodies down. So when we're really stressed, that peace be with me will probably be really fast. It'll probably be like, peace be with me, peace be with me. But then I want you to start thinking about your breath. So peace, and take a nice deep breath in and out. Be, take a nice deep breath in and out. With, take a nice deep breath in and out. Me, take a nice deep breath in and out. Now you may be standing in front of a person who's going nuts at you. You can hold your hands behind you and just do this in your head. You don't have to say it out loud, but this will give your body a signal to calm. And I'll show you another, we call these hand mudras. I'm a yoga teacher, so we call these hand mudras. And the thumb and the pointer finger sends a connection to your lower lung region, and it allows you to breathe properly. So just doing that first piece will allow you to breathe properly, and then adding it all in with that piece, be with me. Okay? Now the next one I'm going to teach you is so you can not trick your mind, but you can train your mind into saying, yes, I can control my thoughts. Because so many people, when I teach them meditation or I teach them relaxation, say, but Victoria, I just can't shut my head up. Like my thoughts are going nuts and I can't shut it up. So this is a breathing technique for you to train your mind to say, yes, I can actually make you shut up. I have control of you. You don't have control of me. Okay, dokes? So I want you to think of something that happened today that mildly bugged you, that not something really, really stressful, but something that mildly bugged you. And so I want you to give it a 10 to how you're feeling about it now. So 10, it's really, really, you're anxious, you're not liking the thought, or 1, it's not really bothering you at all. So just give it a number in there. And then we're going to do the 16-second breath. So I'd like you to close your eyes. I'd like you to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and hold it, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, and hold it, 2, 3, 4. And just breathe normally and open your eyes. So that was 16 seconds of a breathing technique. And I want you to think about, did you think about the thought that you had during those 16 seconds? And I also want you to have a think, how are you feeling now on the number chart? Did that thought actually lose some of the grip on you? So that's just a really easy technique of, if something's just going on and on and on, round and round and round in your mind, just really going, okay, no, I don't need you to be here anymore. I'm going to teach you that I can take you away from my mind. So just practicing that 16-second breath a few times, and it will come so much more naturally for you down the road. Okay, now the past, present, and future meditation is a really great way to calm our mind, especially if something is really bothering you. If something has happened in the past and you're just going over and over it in your mind, an event has happened, something that's been bothering you, and it's just bothering you, it just won't go away. Sometimes you have those arguments with people in your head of things that you think you should have said, and the only one that's actually stressing out is you. The other person probably not even giving it another thought. So that's your past thoughts, and a lot of these past thoughts can trigger some depression in some people. So we really want to be able to control some of these thoughts. Now, the future thoughts can be quite anxious thoughts. It's about what's going to happen, what we think might happen, what we think someone might say, what we think someone might do, what we think we might say or not say. Perhaps you're going in for an interview, or perhaps you're going somewhere and you don't really know the people, and it's bringing up some anxious feelings. So calming our mind, we can do a past, present, future meditation. I'm not going to do the whole meditation now, but I can email it to you and give it to you, because it's probably about 20 minutes. And this meditation is actually in my book as well. So my book, Come to Bed with Me, Creating Mindful Moments with Your Family, because so many people said to me during meditations, oh my gosh, Victoria, you know, you've just got a soothing voice. Can you please come to bed with me? And I'm like, really? Did you know what you just said? Okay. And the other thing is I've got how to create a relaxed home program. So we go into a lot more depth about how to calm our mind in the 5-week program that I've got coming up. We go into what the difference between mindfulness and meditation is, and we try to find ones that really suit you and your life now. Okay, so let's move on. Let's think about how we can sleep better. So keep sleeping to nighttime. Yeah, so try not to have naps during the day. Sleeping is so, so important. Like I was saying at the beginning of the webinar, so important. It can cause so many problems if we don't get a decent sleep. So in order to get a decent sleep, it's not just about nighttime, it's actually how we set up the whole entire day beforehand. So how can we sleep better? We try as much as we possibly can to sleep at night time. So sleeping at the same time at night and waking up at the same time at night. But if you're really, really tired during the day and you really need to have a nap, I do suggest putting the legs up the wall. And again, I can send you an email with the description of how to do this. But it's basically just lying on your back with your hips and your bottom right up close to the skirting board and your legs right up on the wall. Now this pose gives you, if you stay in this pose for 5 minutes, it gives you the equivalent of 20 minutes of a deep sleep. So a really good nana nap. But if you want to extend that, if you stay in the pose for 20 minutes, it gives you the equivalent of an hour really, really good sleep. So I really recommend this pose. This is such a beautiful pose. I spend just at 2 o'clock nearly every afternoon. I'm in this pose, and I've got a meditation on, and I feel fantastic for the rest of the day, and I can sleep really well. The other thing is trying to keep electronic things out of your bedroom. So no TVs in your bedroom. There's lots of different reasons why, and we don't need to go into them all now, but you really want to keep as much electronic things out of your bedroom as you possibly can. So also keeping caffeinated drinks to the morning or just not after 2 o'clock. And they say try to do your most physical and mental activity in the morning. So we're really trying to wind down after 2 o'clock. We're really trying to do, if you've got a really big gym practice, or if you're yogi and you do a really full-on hot yoga or a huge asana, you just really want to do that in the morning. We're not trying to do that in the evening. What we are trying to do in the evening is perhaps go on a beautiful stroll, a nice gentle stroll, half an hour stroll. You might like to do some restorative yoga, which is my absolute favourite. And I'm going on a tour this week, and I get to teach lots and lots of people that, so I'm really excited about that. And also the mental activity. You want to be calming down. And so, watching a really, really full-on, killing, banging movie just before you go to bed, it's not going to bring a really good sleep pattern to you. So talking about patterns, talking about routines, we just really want to keep that routine as comfortable as possible and as the same as possible It doesn't need to be exactly the same every single night, but if we can remember to keep that sort of routine, our bodies really love it. They really go, oh, this is what's happening now. This is what's happening now. We don't have to keep retraining our bodies into how to do things. I've got square breathing down here because it's the best it's the best technique that I've found for going back to sleep. Do you know that 3 o'clock in the morning when you wake up and your brain's just going crazy, you're thinking about the next day, you're thinking about something that happened before, you're starting to get annoyed because you can't go back to sleep, you know, all that stuff's going around in your mind. So instead of getting up, I don't recommend getting up. Obviously, if you need to go to the toilet, get up, but I don't recommend getting up. I do recommend doing some square breathing. So square breathing is calming yourself, picturing a square in front of you, and on each breath, your awareness goes around the square. So as we breathe in, the awareness comes up the side of the square. As you breathe out, your awareness slides along the top of the square. As you breathe in, the awareness slides down the side of the square. And as you breathe out, the awareness slides across the bottom, back to where we started. It's a really good way of using visualization that's very, very easy, that isn't going to start a story in your mind. It keeps the mind busy on something that's very, very simple, and it helps you regulate your breathing. And so there's a little bit more to that meditation as well, the square breathing. And again, I can send you links if you want me to afterwards with the full meditation, with me doing the whole lot, and it will probably take 20 minutes. And once you get the hang of it, and your body gets the hang of it, and your mind gets to get to sleep. If I start doing that, I usually only get to 2 rounds and I'm fast asleep. So I can send you all that information as well if you want me to. So if you don't have my email already, or if you don't know how to contact me through Facebook, my email is victoria@victoriasplaceonline.com.au, all lowercase. So that's victoria@victoriasplaceonline.com.au, and I can send you all this information, no problem at all. And I can do the meditation for free because I just think that they're so useful for so many people. And I'd hate for any financial situation to get in between me trying to relax you. So when we're talking about the 3 most important steps to creating your relaxed home, we can start by looking in the pantry and in the fridge. My little man has stomach issues similar to mine, and he hasn't had any surgeries, thank goodness. But we've had to be very, very mindful of how he eats, because it's incredible to watch when he eats the wrong thing, how it affects him mentally and how angry it makes him. He starts shaking, and there's lots of other things involved. But I really, really believe that what you eat has so much effect on how you're feeling, for one thing, but also your mental health and anger. If we put crap into our bodies, our body is going to give us crap back. If we put crap into our children are going to give us crap back. So we can't blame them for that. It is our we have to do this for our children. We have to give them the best food that we can afford to give them. And I say to people, try to just, when we're shopping, try to just shop around the outside of the shopping centre or shopping, Coles or Woolworths, wherever you go, unless you're going to an organic fruit shop. But if we go to one of these big supermarkets, just shop around the outside of it, because that's when you'll find all of the produce that is fresh. We really only need to shop around the outside. We don't need to go into the middle and find canned goods. We don't need to fill our bodies and our children's bodies with things that have been sitting on the shelf for years or months or even weeks. Because in order for it to sit on the shelf there is too many chemicals in them. And we don't know what those chemicals are doing to our children's and our guts and how that affects the mind. I believe that there is a lot of research around, and I know personally I have done hundreds of hours of research on this, but I don't believe we need that much research on it anymore. It is a fact now that there is so many chemicals in our foods. There are so many things, and there is not enough research on what those chemicals are doing to our minds. So people tell me all the time, oh, I can't afford to buy healthy foods. I can't afford to buy organic foods. Just buy fresh. Buy as fresh as you can. And some people also say to me, I don't have time. It doesn't take more time to put in a chip packet into their lunchbox than it does cutting up an apple and putting it in there. Because we all know kids do not eat food that isn't cut up for them. So cutting it up, it doesn't need to be amazingly good looking. You don't need to, you can if you want to, make it look fantastic and make smiley faces on their plates. That is fun. But if we give them good food, and if we give ourselves good food, you will find that the anxiety levels, that the anger levels, that the stress levels dramatically change in your house. And then we can get to what the real concern is. So just by starting to have a look in your pantry, decluttering, I'm always talking about it, decluttering your pantry so that you can declutter your body. We don't need to put all this rubbish into our bodies. We can find really, really, really tasty, yummy things that don't cost a fortune. We can do this. So week 4 in the 5-week program I was telling you about is all about eating and weight management. So mindful eating is not depriving yourself of anything that you really love, but mindfully eating it. And you'll find if you slow down and you think about where that chocolate bar has come from, who made it, where the cocoa beans have been made, what else is in there, you'll actually start saying to yourself, do I really want to put this into my mouth? Is this the best thing that I can put into my mouth? And you might say to yourself, I really, really want to put this into my mouth. And I say to you, good, do it. Do it slowly. Because if you start doing things slowly, then you're not going to madly, guiltily, is that a word? Guiltily, push it down your mouth and then just feel all of that guilt afterwards. You're actually really going to enjoy it. And you might say to yourself, I actually don't need as much now because I'm not just shoving it down mindlessly. So it's a really great way of managing our weight and thinking about what is going into our mouths and what is going into the mouths of the people around us that we feed. And breathing. Breathing is, I should get it tattooed on my forehead. Breathing, it's the most important thing you can do. Seriously, if you don't breathe, you die. So we really, really need to make sure we're breathing properly. Diaphragmatic breathing, we call it. So, or the doctors call it. Yogis call this the full yogic breath. But diaphragmatic breathing, we have a diaphragm muscle underneath our lungs. Now, when we breathe in, the diaphragm muscle pushes down and opens up the bottom part of our lungs. And in doing so, it gives our digestive system a little massage every single time we breathe, which is just so cool. I love how our bodies work when they work well. So when we're breathing, that diaphragm muscle pushes down, and when we're breathing in, our belly should open up slightly. And when we breathe out, the diaphragm muscle gently pushes the bottom of the lungs up and pushes the air out of the bottom of the lungs, and the belly comes in slightly. So again, every time we're breathing, our abdominal muscles get a little workout as well, which is so cool. But it only happens if we're breathing properly. So I want you to place both of your hands on your belly. And if you're not doing this correctly, don't think you're not alone, because only 1/3 of the population breathes correctly, which is a tragedy. Babies breathe correctly. If you watch a baby breathing, they do this absolutely beautiful. But some way we lose our way and we stop breathing correctly. So hands on your belly, soften your beautiful shoulders, and just find yourself balanced on either side of your bottom or wherever you're resting. And I want you to take a nice deep breath in. I want you to feel the breath coming into the nose, down the back of the throat, all the way down into the lower parts of the lungs, and the belly comes out. And as we gently breathe out, the belly comes in. And you let the air out from the bottom part of the lungs. So just practicing that for a few times, because it can be quite challenging for some people when they first start doing this, when they first start breathing properly, because they've lost that way of breathing. And this isn't just the way that we should be breathing when we're in a yoga class, or, you know, if we're giving birth, or if we're in a breathing session with me. This is the way that we should be breathing every single minute of the day. So it needs to become automatic. So we're breathing in and the belly comes out slightly. And we're breathing out and the belly comes in slightly. It's so important to be able to make sure your body is getting the oxygen that it needs, because every cell of your body needs that oxygen. And every cell of your mind needs that oxygen. So it is our job to make sure that our cells are getting the oxygen that it needs. If we're only breathing into the top part of our lungs, which most of us do, we're only giving ourselves a small amount of that oxygen that it needs. So that's another thing to practice. That's another thing that I can email to you as well. Another important thing about having a relaxed home is trying to declutter some of the things in your home, in your computer, subscriptions, emails, in your car, in your handbag. We waste so much of our precious time moving shit around, moving stuff from place to place. How many times do you have to fumble through your handbag in order to find one thing? And we've got so much stuff in there that we don't need. How much time do you spend going through emails to try and find something, and you've got all this other stuff in there that you don't need? How much time do you spend trying to find your shoes when they should all just be in one spot anyway? So we actually don't need all of the stuff that we have. We don't need manuals anymore for computers and things like that. We can download all of that stuff. We don't need books that we have read once and we will never read again. Somebody else will love reading that book. Give it to them. There's so much clutter in our lives. It takes up so much space in your physical home. Sometimes we even spend so much money buying a bigger home just so we can store half of this clutter that we don't use. And once we actually get rid of all the clutter, we've got more time to spend doing what we want to do. We've got less time dusting, we've got less time cleaning, and we can actually get on with having a healthy, relaxed home and doing the things that we really enjoy doing instead of doing the things that we think we should be doing. You know, perhaps we think we should be having fabulous parties, so we buy 50 wine glasses. You're going to have to clean all of those and dust them at some stage. How many times do you actually have 50 people over for a party? And guess what? You can hire them for the weekend anyway. You know, we don't need to keep so many things. So we talk about this in a lot more detail in week 1. And I give you lots of different easy ways to declutter your home and also for it not to be cluttered again. I go through the KonMari method with you. You might have heard the KonMari method. In week 2, we chat about what we can do with that extra time. So how we can learn to find ourselves again. Find ourselves that is not surrounded by all this clutter and say, who actually am I and what do I love doing? What do the people around me love doing? And we learn to communicate better as well with the people around us. We talk about the 5 love languages, and we talk about which love language is our love language and which love language our family communicate with. And I was having a really great discussion with my kids just the other day about this. And it was a really easy way of saying, well, that's how this person shows their love, but it's not how you show your love. This is how you show your love. So I'm angry with that person for not acknowledging that because they didn't even know that you were trying to show your love that way. So the 5 love languages, that's a really, really fabulous, fabulous way of having those open communication with your family. And all this helps create that relaxed home. All of it helps. So why is self-love so important? It's so important to love ourselves. So today of all days, being Valentine's Day, we need to learn to love ourselves before we can love anybody else. No one else is going to look at us and say, I lost my train of thought there. No one else is going to look at us and be able to help us love ourselves. We need to do it ourselves. So as my gift to you on Valentine's Day, I'm going to give you a body scan meditation. So this is one of the best ways to relax your body. There are lots of other things. And once we start relaxing our bodies, sometimes our mind, it goes a little bit nuts, but then it starts to relax and then everything relaxes. So I can give you tips on this as well. Now, I'm going to give you a bit of a surprise. So before we start this meditation, I would like you to know that for the 5-week program I was talking to you about, I'm opening up a very special early bird price, and I would like to give you $100 off this price. It's priced at $345, but today and for the next 2 days, I'd really like to give this gift. I'd like to give you this gift to help you relax your home, help you declutter, help you find that love again, help you mindfully eat. And so how to get that is just head over to my website again, which is www.victoriasplaceonline.com.au. And remember to put that online, Victoria's Place Online. Otherwise you'll get someone else's site that's very different from mine. And when you go into the website, you'll see there's a little shop button up on the right hand side, and you can write in the code relaxed home, and that will give you your $100 off your special early bird price. But as I say, it's only going to be for the next 2 days. So let me have a look at my calendar now. I'll take it down on the 16th at night time. So it's the 14th now. I'll take it down on the 16th. So I really hope you can join me on that program. There's so many bonuses that go along with it. I really love it because it's just so much of the information that I've learnt that is practical and useful, and I know you can do it. I know you can bring it into your life, and I know how useful it's been in my life. So we are back. I'll stop the screen share, and hi, I'm back. So I'm just seeing some of these comments, and it's really interesting. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I know, moving so much shit around. What's with that? We just spend so many. I would not like to count up the hours that we spend. There's a person that I know that was she was moving around really, really heavy stuff. She was moving around exercise equipment from one room to the other room to the other room, and I swear she got more exercise moving the exercise equipment that she ever did actually on the exercise stuff. Okay, so I'm going to give you that beautiful body scan meditation. So if you would like to find a comfortable position, before we do this, I'd like to say goodbye and thank you so much for being online with me. I do hope that you come on with me for the 5-week program. And I'm saying this now because once I get you into a meditation feeling, you probably won't want to wake up and listen to anything I say. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's a real pleasure to be able to help you. Okay, so I'd like you to find a nice comfortable position. If you can lie down, that would be lovely. But if you don't have the room, that's absolutely fine. Just sitting comfortably in your chair. Now, the main thing that we need to do is to get into a comfortable position to start with. So making sure you're balanced on the right and the left side of your body. Making sure that you're really comfortable. So moving anything, or perhaps loosening a belt, or perhaps getting warm if you're not warm enough. So just spending a few moments just perhaps moving around just a little bit, making sure that everything's very, very comfortable. If you're sitting in a chair, just making sure your legs are uncrossed, your feet are placed flat on the floor, and you've got a nice straight spine. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, please do. If not, just bring your gaze down. And as always in our meditations, as always in our life, the breath comes first. Calm the breathing. So without changing the breath at all, I want you to just feel where the breath is coming into your nose. Perhaps there's a different temperature for when the inhale and the exhale. I want you to start feeling where that beautiful breath is going. In yoga, we call this the prana, the energy. So your breath is your energy. It keeps you alive. So feel where that energy is coming down. You can feel it at the back of the throat. Perhaps you can feel the ribs moving at the front of the body, on the chest. On the in-breath and the out-breath, perhaps you can feel the ribs moving at the sides of the body. On the in-breath and the out-breath, perhaps you can feel the back of the body, the ribs at the back of the body. Now I want you to think about that beautiful diaphragm muscle we spoke about. And as you breathe in, feel a gentle pull of the diaphragm muscle and the belly rises slightly. As you breathe out, allow the belly to relax and the breath come out of the bottom part of the lungs. Breathing in and out softly and gently. If you're finding it difficult breathing in and out through the nose, just use the mouth, it's okay. Whatever makes you the most comfortable. Now, just as you've started to take these nice, long, slow breaths in and out, and you've started to focus on your breathing, you'll find that your body starts to soften. What I'd like you to do in your mind is repeat the body part that I say after me. So if I say thumb, just say thumb in your mind. This will send a signal to your body to just think about that area of your body, and you'll find it automatically relaxing. So we're going to start at the feet, toes, heels, calves, shins, tops of the knees, underneath of the knees, tops of the thighs, underneath of the thighs, the bottom, the hips, the lower belly, the middle belly, the waist, the lower back, the middle back, the upper back, in between the shoulder blades, the backs of the shoulders, the fronts of the shoulders, across the chest, both shoulders, the upper arms, the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, the backs of the hands, the palms of the hands, fingers, the thumb, the back of the neck, the throat, the jaw, the lips, the tongue, the cheeks, the eyes, the eyelids, the muscles around the eyes, the eyebrows, in between the eyebrows, the forehead, the scalp, the whole of the head, both arms, the whole of the torso, both legs, both feet. Bringing your awareness back to the gentle flow of the breath, feeling your body completely relaxed, feeling at ease, knowing you are doing exactly the right thing for your body right now. I'm going to leave you here. I encourage you to rest longer. I'm going to stay online for a few moments just to answer any emails if you wish to send me any. Victoria at victoriasplaceonline.com.au. I'll chat soon. Namaste.